Since the Infernal could be into us this wave. Hopefully, purple still clears enough out here that it's not a big deal. But at this point, I'm not sure it's possible for it to not be a big deal. I know I really need to get my next hero, but we have to survive this Infernal turn. We have to survive it. Is he gonna do it? Okay, no Infernal. Alright.
Insufficient gold.
Yeah, we have to hero here.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
This... not the greatest hero, but... maybe we would have preferred a melee hero here, but... I don't know. At least, as long as he has to be using his Infernal here, then we're fine. It is the moment that that doesn't work that we're going to be screwed. Alright, good.
Your building is complete.
Should I ask someone up? My eyes are open. Get on with it. What you got? I can't build that. I'll check it out. Shoot. Get on with it. Take your time. Look around.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
You're probably right. Probably an Orb of Slow would be good enough here. Luckily, purple is real strong, so maybe it doesn't even matter. Yeah. Maybe it's time to buy a TC Aura.
Can I help you?
It's way earlier than I would normally do it. It's actually very expensive into this shit. Maybe I can't do that. Maybe that's like griefing. Just like, is that our win condition? I think it's just a little too soon. I think that at some point we'll do that, but
Your building is complete.
is it over? Okay, yeah, it's over. Almost? Actually, this is like yeah. We get carried here pretty freaking hard. That feels good. Nice job. I still want to do the tier list, but I need to finish my sandwich, and I can't do the tier list at all while I'm doing my sandwich. So let's eat during this game queue. Is Trill around? Trill, you here? I know Trill usually streams on Friday, so I just want to know what time Trill is planning on streaming. We can prepare the raidery now. If he's indeed actually streaming it. Good night. Ninja Mortal with the Kenny icon.
Your building is complete. Your building is
Anybody know who Ninja Mortal is? Really hard to tell if this is a win or a loss, right? Three foots and a naga versus an AM.
Your building is complete.
I think it's AM. Sorry, I think it's naga. So we stay forward here.
The engine's running. I'm all geared up.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
Can I help you?
Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
More gold is required.
Your building is complete.
Research complete.
I wonder if there was ever a world in which I was supposed to try and stall there. I don't know if it would have been possible or not, but if I didn't lightning shield.
Insufficient gold.
Take your time. Look around.
Your building is
I'm gonna make the rifle here instead of buying an orb. I feel like the in general the rifle is much better. We just don't want to die to a nutmeg. And I mean they'll scale well with our bear and our bloodlust eventually also. I don't mind making them. That makes us
More gold is required.
more set up for different things.
Your building is complete.
Banshee, okay. Wow, nice job killing that. It's level 2 before me somehow, which is just like kinda dumb. I mean, is Banshee sad for him? I mean, I guess it stops me from making bears, which is, like, actually pretty nice for him.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold.
Make Destro, he'll sell the Banshees, and then mass bear. Could be. The thing is, who actually, like, he already knows that I have,
I'm all geared up.
he already knows that I have it, right?
Hello.
Upgrade finished.
Oh, man. This is actually kind of a hard wave. We can't really Bloodlust here, right? Although, that was a really good stun.
Your building is
Can I
complete.
help you? Take your time.
More
Look
gold
around.
is required. More gold is required.
Your building is complete.
Oops. Should have saved it. Look at those two coatls spent all of their attack time killing one Tinker bot.
Your building is we must lend aid to our allies.
More gold is required. More gold is required. More gold is required.
Your building is complete.
Does Disease Cloud work for Makura? It should. I believe it does. Okay, he's bats. We know a lot about his draft now. Actually, like, that might not even be true. Because
We must lend aid.
it just so happens that he has Coatl, so it doesn't allow the grief the targeting.
Your building is complete.
What does he recommend leveling up Tinker's spell? My standard for doing that is I go level 1 factory, level 2 cluster rockets, level 3 and 4 passive. I'll be honest, I don't know if it's correct or not. I am kind of guessing. I'm not a Tinker main. But I feel like you really want the like the damage isn't really that as important as the area, so you can stun more stuff. That's what I figure anyway. Yeah, rockets before E. Yeah.
Take your time. Look around.
Basically, 1 factory, 1 rockets, and then 3 engineering upgrades.
Hello.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
Engine's running.
Research complete.
Unfortunately, we really don't have a great option for dealing a lot of damage into yellow. which is a risk this game. Although at this point,
I'm all geared up.
I think I'm gonna play forward now. I don't think playing back is helping us at all. Also, I don't think Robo-Tinker is gonna help us very much, so let's reroll. Let's get our heroes going now before the game is in a really critical state. We won't be able to reroll.
Can I help you? You can count on me. You're the boss here. I'm your
Your building is complete.
No one orders me around.
Blue is building good units here, helping me out. Yeah, it's really a shame we can't really do the jack shit to yellow. I guess I could get Disease Cloud, but that's actually pretty weak sauce, right? I mean, it really depends how much damage you're gonna get in by like having the rockets. Like if there's a lot of like really tightly clumped up stuff, it probably is correct to go for extra rockets. But like if you're not going to hit like a lot of units, it's probably not worth it.
Your building is complete.
My pick on a dollar bill, holy shit. That Tinker kind of smashed this Makara. That was good.
Can I help you?
Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
That's a lot of copters. Does he have anything that is...
Hello.
Your building is complete.
This is a level 6. Hmm.
What you got? Take your time. Look around.
It's really early for TC Aura, but I almost feel like it's decent.
Hello.
Your building is complete.
I get two. I don't know, man.
Your building.
I mean, I could also take, like, if I felt like... I was thinking about whether I wanted to grab, dragon turtles here or not, because there is some Makura in one of the lanes. Yeah, it's not worth it. We thin yellow out a lot there. That's good enough.
Can I help you?
Aura? Aura time? Is this too soon? I don't feel like it's too soon. One defense is actually generally not that great unless we face the bats, because our main tanks don't even get the benefit of the armor. All of these, our Tinker and our Bear, or sorry, our Deathsworn. I could honestly make bears at this point, like force him to make banshees, but he's actually already gotten to the point where he has like a lot of, like he's actually clearing out blue now. Oh, Big Bad Voodoo gets interrupted. Unlucky.
Speak, fool.
Your building is complete.
Take your time. Look around.
More gold is required.
Your building is complete.
Animal war training, huh? Probably does actually have value. That's probably a good spot for it. I haven't bought. I literally that upgrade is pretty much invisible in my brain, so I probably wouldn't have bought it ever if you didn't remind me.
building is complete.
Aye, sir.
Your building is
The Forest Temple music is so good. No, people are pretty fucking creative, man. No, we don't quite get there in time, right? Damn, so close. I'm actually not even sure about going for rockets here. It might honestly be better to just be going stats at this point.
your building is complete.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Your building is complete.
Get our next hero, next wave.
More gold is required.
Your building is complete.
Oh, he actually has some banshees again. He does stack. Unfortunately, blue is way too close to the base for us to actually stack with here. I'm not sure that anybody actually has any good bodies for me to res, which is like kind of unfortunate. Yeah, we get a skin flare and a rifle. Everybody's just playing Deathsworn. Get him, skin flare.
Your building is complete.
You're not supposed to say it, Duck. Just because did I miss a tier list? No. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. I'm gonna play one more game, and then I'm doing the tier list after that. because the reality is I don't have quite as long to stream today. I only realistically have about 2 hours total max. Hey, what's up, Warcraft Verse? Trill, when are you gonna stream today, Trill? Yeah, I think I'd like to play one more game, and then fire up the tier list. We'll see what we can do. All right, let's stretch. Grab our water. Player tier list. I'm pretty sure I'd just go by MMR. It would be. I'm no good at a player tier list. And you can see where I'm at in terms of MMR, so you can see where I would be on a player tier list right now. All right, final game, then tier list. Yeah, it is going to be a unit tier list. It is not going to be. It is going to be a unit tier list. This is definitely the type of draft where actually like having ghouls as your queue is like it's okay, right? Like a lot of the time you'd almost rather have grunts, honestly, in this type of draft. The problem is that just like ghouls can get countered so easy. Toby has played 4 footmen. I guess I need to follow up with ghouls. There was definitely a part of me that wanted to skip here so that I could like at least more often not have to fight a anti-ghoul hero or something. We have a very one-dimensional draft. Alright, well, he's on footman. That's not that great for us, right? Because that definitely makes our dryads a little worse. I mean, we were obviously hoping for really anything other than ghouls, but foots are definitely the next worst. Still, he has to deal with our ghouls.
We must lend aid to the allies.
Just depends how good of a anti-ghoul hero he has. Ikimori?
Insufficient gold.
Does anyone know what that means? I feel like I've heard that word before, but I don't know it.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete. Our allies' town needs help.
I really don't know what good this did. I guess if I had taken a summon hero, then okay. Pit Lord is really bad for us, right? I mean, it's a nice thing we got Alk. The problem is I don't have any any good incentive to play Dryads here, which makes it really awkward, right? We were hoping to be able to play Dryads. I think I still do it, but I am worried that we lose sometimes if I do it. But, like, if he plays Shaman here or something, we really need him. Because otherwise we'll lose, so... Oh, really close fight here. Blind Dryads are always a risk. Not great here either. I mean, it's pretty fucking awkward, right? Like, you just keep spamming ghouls into this and hoping that, like, that we win forever.
We demand additional lumber.
I mean, because this Pit Lord is eventually better than us, right? I don't even think it's going to take that long, really.
More gold.
It's really bad, actually, that we have to face a leak here.
Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient
Okay, well, we won here because he teched, but basically no other reason.
What is nature's call?
And if he is going bears, then we are in a little bit of trouble eventually.
Upgrade finished. Your building
More
is
gold is
complete.
required. More gold is required.
Your building is complete. Insufficient gold.
Very worried about dealing with the bears.
Your building is complete. Your building is complete. Your building is complete.
Oh wait, what the fuck happened? I thought I was gonna get a sea drake out of this.
We must lend aid to our allies. Your building is complete. Your building is complete. Your building is complete. We must lend aid to our allies. Your building is complete. Upgrade finished. Your building is complete.
Actually, I should not have turned this on. I should turn off everything.
蜘蛛の巣だらけの幽霊屋敷だが、ま、思ったよりマシか。うわっ！ラウ様！
少しもマシではないようですよ、ラウ様。
ガイ！
お怪我はございませんか？
お前…
ないようですね。よかった。
触るな！なぜついてきた？
なぜと言われましても、ラウ様がどちらにいらしたとしても、お仕えするのが私の役目ですから。
帰れ。帰れよ、ガイ。俺に忠実でない執事なんて用なしだ。許せない。ガイだけは唯一の理解者だと思っていたのに、俺よりも父さんの味方をするなんて。
高木亮原作ドラマ CD 羊ゲーム
第1話。結婚！俺が…
そうだ。美しいだろう。伯爵家の2番目のお嬢さんだ。年はお前より2つ下で。
馬鹿げています！会ったこともない女性といきなり結婚だなんて。それに俺にはまだやりたいことが。
馬鹿げているのはお前の方だろう。デザイナーになるなどと言っていたか？無駄な夢を持ち寄って。
父さん！
おじいさまの代からとはいえ、お前の教育係に害をあてがったのは失敗だったな。
申し訳ございません。
ガイ！謝ることはないぞ。お前だって俺が結婚だなんてまだ早いと思っているだろ。
いえ、お父様の選んだご令状です。申し分ない方だと思いますよ。
お前はこの家の跡取りだ。土地も屋敷もいずれお前のものになる。だが結婚しないのならば家は継がせん。
わかりました。
ああ、そうか。
今日限り俺は家を出ます。
何？
デザイナーになるまではもうここには戻りません。俺は絶対父さんの思い通りにはなりません。
ラウ！
そう単価を切って家を飛び出し、しばらく使われていなかった別邸にやってきた。お前はいいのか？俺が結婚しても。
ラウ様、この汚れた服の洗濯はもちろん、漂白、アイロン、糊付けに至るまで今日から全てあなたお一人でできるとでも？脱いだら勝手に綺麗になるわけではないのですよ。
分かってる。
こんな幽霊屋敷に一人で住む以上、身なりくらいはきちんとしていただかないと、自立どころかお父様の面汚しにならざるを得ませんよ。
勝手にしろ。
御意に。
何より許せないのは、強引に結婚を進める父ではなく、俺の結婚と聞いても顔色一つ変えないガイの態度だ。いつもそうだ。大事なことを言おうとするとうまく流される。 ガイは気づいているのかもしれない。俺がガイを好きなこと。だからこそ知らないふりをする。あくまでも主人の息子と使用人の関係でいるために。それがガイの答え。くそ、うまくいかない。集中できない。このままじゃデザイナーになんてなれっこない。父さんの思惑通りになってしまう。たとえ実らなくてもガイに気持ちを伝えられないまま結婚なんて、それだけは絶対避けたいのに。
ラウ様。
なんだ。
失礼します。気分転換に休憩なされてはいかがですか？
ああ、そうだな。ダメだ。こんな空気耐えられない。さっさと言ってしまえば少しは楽に。ガイ、俺。
今日のアフタヌーンティーはラウ様のお好きなセイロンにスコーンとマカロンをご用意いたしましたが、どちらになさいますか？
スコーンにしろ。
かしこまりました。
また遮られた。こんなにあからさまにするぐらい俺の気持ちは迷惑なのか。
さあラウ様、もうお休みのお時間ですよ。
はーい。
いい子ですね。
ガイ、俺のこと好き？
ええ、大好きですよ。
俺もガイのこと大好き。
ありがとうございます。さあ、おやすみなさい。
おやすみ。昔は俺のことが好きだって何度も言ってくれたのに、そんなことを優しく言われて育てられて、好きだと自覚したら突き放すなんて。ガイはずるい。
煮詰まっているようですね。
別に。
お出かけになられては？
これは招待状？
今夜第一王子龍炎様の誕生パーティーがあります。一流のドレスを見て息抜きされてはいかがですか？デザインの勉強にもなるかと。
え？お前も父さんと一緒で俺の夢に反対していたんじゃないのか？
いいえ、ラウ様には才能がおありです。私は応援させていただこうと思っております。
知らなかった。ガイが俺を応援してくれていたなんて。ガイ、わかった。すぐに用意をしろ。
かしこまりました。お待たせいたしました。
ガイ様、守備は？
問題なく。
ではご命令通りに。
必ずお連れしますとお伝えください。私のご主人様に。
やはり綺麗だな。一流の服を着た客ばかりだ。
ラウ様、私はここでお待ちしております。
一緒に来ないのか？
私の身分では許されません。どうぞ楽しんでらしてください。
ああ。華やかなドレス、豪勢な食事。ガイも来れたらよかったのに。
来たかラウ。
父さん。
命令通りガイはお前をうまく誘い出してくれたようだな。
命令？
紹介しようラウ。お前の妻になる女性だ。
嘘だ。 ガイが俺を裏切るなんて。
はじめましてラウ様。私は
お断りします。
え
俺はあなたとは結婚できない。
ラウ
ガイ！
お帰りなさいませ、ラウ様。
なんでこんなことを。気分転換にだなんて嘘だったのか。
ご主人様の命令に従うのが執事ですから。
だったらなぜ。
ラウ様、誤解しないでください。私のご主人様はあなたのお父様です。なぜ驚かれるのですか。私はあなたの執事ではありません。
そうか。俺の夢応援してくれるって嬉しかったのに。お前の優しさは全て父さんの命令だったから。だから今も俺のそばにいるだけで。俺のためじゃなかったんだ。でもそれでも俺はお前のことが。
その先はまだ行ってはいけません。私とて辛いのですよ。
ラウ様、あんな大勢の前で結婚を断るなんてひどいわ。よくもこの私に恥をかかせてくれたわね。
ガイ！
あなた。
断られて当然です。あなた程度の女性はラウ様にふさわしくありません。
ガイ、お前何言って。
従者ごときがよくもそんな口を叩けたものね。あなたのお父様に言ってクビにしてやるわ。覚悟しなさい。
待って。
追わなくて結構です。
止めないと。お前はクビに。
構いません。これでようやく自由になれます。
自由？まさかわざと解雇されようとしているのか。そんなに俺から離れたくて。嫌だ。いくら気持ちが伝わらなくてもガイと離れるなんて考えられない。ダメだ。離れるなんて許さない。お前は一生俺のそばで仕えろ。お前は俺のものになればいい。
はい、仰せのままに。私のご主人様、私が今までどれほどあなたへの気持ちを耐えてきたか分かりますか。
お前が？
あなたのお父様から解雇を言い渡されて、これでやっとあなたの執事になれます。
じゃあ今までの俺に対するガイの態度は嫌われていたわけじゃなかったのか。
あなたが望むなら私はあなたのものになりましょう。
俺にはまだお前を雇う金もないぞ。
大丈夫です。出世払いでいただきますから。
このキスが契約書代わりだ。
確かにいただきました。ラウ様、ワインを。
お前も付き合え。
いえ、私めは。
祝杯だ。俺の執事を手に入れたことへの。
では失礼して。さあ、どうぞ命令してください。最初の命令を、ご主人様。
お前が欲しい。
お望みのままに。 こんなにこぼして高いワインなのですよ。いけませんね。きれいにしなくては。
待って、ガイ。ガイに裸を見られることなんて慣れてるはずなのに、絹の手袋の感触も塩ビの擦れる肌触りも、ガイが俺にこんな風に触れることなんて今までなかったから。いや、そんなとこ。
ラウ様、気持ちいいですか？いいですよ。好きな時に出してください。
でもガイ、お前も。
それはもちろん後でねっちりと楽しませていただくつもりですが、ご主人様を喜ばせるのが執事の務めですから。入れますよ。ラウ様、少し辛いのでは。今日はこのくらいに。
いい、やめるな。命令だ。
ですが、
お前の自制心には呆れる。言ったはずだ。俺が欲しいのはお前だと。今までずっと我慢していた思い、全部欲しいんだ。全部俺が受け止めてやるから。
困りましたね。今夜だけでは伝えきれませんよ。一生かけてご奉仕しなくては。
やっと俺だけの執事を手に入れた。もう離さないからな。
お目覚めですか？本日の朝食は生ハムのサラダと。
ガイ、
何でしょう？
キスしろ。
はい、ご主人様。
見合いだと知ってて俺を連れてきたのも、破談に追い込んで父さんに自分を解雇させるためか？
ええ、予定ではあなたのお父様をいえ、亡くなるまで待つつもりだったのですが、こんな好機を逃すことはないと思いまして。
ガイ。
ところでご主人様、私の給与の件ですが。
なんだ？明細。どれ？お前、こんな高級鳥だったのか。
ですから出世払いができるまで私がラウ様を養わせていただきます。
待て、ダメ。まだ俺だけ。やめ、ガイ、も
う。ご主人様、私のことなどどうぞお気になさらずに。私はあなたの執事なのですから。
第2話。
ガイ。ガイ。俺、また一人で行って、途中で気失って。
ご主人様、
ガイ。
温かい飲み物をご用意いたしましたが、起きられますか？
ああ。政略結婚を逃れ、父に反対されたデザイナーの仕事をするため、家を出て2週間。長い片思いに終止符を打って、ガイは名実ともに俺の恋人になったのに。
どうぞ。暑いですから気をつけて。
せめて目が覚めるまで隣にいてもいいんじゃないのか？
は？
自分だけ服の乱れどころか何もなかったみたいに。俺の中にはまだガイの体温が残っているっていうのに、どうしてお前はそんなに冷静なんだ？
ご主人様？
ラウと呼べ。
では、ラウ様。
それでは今までと変わらな。
申し訳ありません。すぐに軽食をご用意いたします。ラウ様はもう少し休んでいてください。運動の後ですしね。
運動って。ガイは執事として完璧だ。でも恋人としては、ガイがいつも冷静でいられるのは、きっと俺がガイを思うほどには、ガイは俺のことを。来客？こんなところに珍しいな。ガイ、聞こえてないのか？仕方がない。今開ける。静かにしろ。騒ぐな。しまった。誘拐か。ガイ！
ラウ様！あなた、シオン様。
驚いた？会いたかったよ、ラウ兄さん。
シオン！
シオン様、ご兄弟とはいえご冗談が過ぎるのでは？
冗談のつもりはない。ちょっとしたテストだ。こんな警備も使用人も不完全な屋敷に大切な兄さんを住まわせるわけにはいかない。さあ帰ろう兄さん。これ以上心配させないでくれ。
シオン。
立ち話もなんですから、シオン様もご一緒にお茶などいかがですか？ちょうど支度をしていたところです。
そうだ、それがいい。行くぞシオン。
思い通りになると思うなよ。
何のことです？
昔からお前はラウ以外には一つも執着しなかったからな。私のラウに家出までさせて見合いを潰した上、執事としてここに居座るつもりか？
シオン様こそ昔から気味の悪いほどお兄様思いですね。でも私がいる限り思いが報われるとは到底思えませんが。
おい、その気味の悪い笑顔をやめろ。
あなたこそ年の割に老けてますよ。
まあいい。こんな不自由な生活やお前の本性にラウが愛想を尽かすのも時間の問題だ。思い上がるなよ。最後に選ばれるのは家族であるこの私だ。お前のその執念深い思いがいずれラウを傷つけることになるだろうよ。
お前とも久しぶりだな、楓。
はい。お元気そうで何よりです、ラウ様。
シオンとはうまくやれてるのか？
はい。
よくやってくれてるよ、楓は。
シオン様。私は未熟で、早くガイ様のような執事に。
あんな風にならなくていい。
ガイ！お前も一緒に。
結構です。
ガイ。
仕事が残っておりますので失礼。
ガイ。あんな目で俺を見るなんて怒ってる？
大丈夫だよ。ガイが兄さんに腹を立てるなんて絶対にないから。
お前と違って俺には自分の稼ぎで執事を雇えるほどの才能はない。今だってガイを雇うどころか養ってもらってるようなものだ。はあ、不甲斐ない主人の俺にガイは幻滅したのかもしれない。
じゃあやめればいい。
申し訳ありません、ラウ様。
先ほどは失礼をいたしました。ラウ様、どちらへ？メモが私宛て。家に帰ることにした。ラウ様。
あれ、なんで揺れて。そうだ、俺眠らされて。どこだここは。
安心して兄さん、この馬車は家へ向かってるだけだから。
シオン、一体どういうつもりだ。なんで家に帰らなければならない。
だって兄さんはガイに嫌われたのでしょ。
シオン、
兄さんは家を継がなければならない人間だ。あんな執事こちらから捨ててしまえばいい。代わりの執事なら5万といるしな。
どんな態度を取られても俺はガイとは離れない。ガイは俺の執事だ。
兄さん、
あいつがどう思おうが主人は俺だ。嫌われたって一生使いさせてやる。たとえ嫌われたのだとしても、どんなに不安でも俺は諦めることもできない。
兄さん、何をする気ですか？
うるさい、離せ。馬車を止めないなら飛び降りるまでだ。
バカなことを。怪我では済みませんよ。
おやめください、ラウ様。
やめ、離せ。
なんだ、どうして止まった？
それが
ラウ様。
ガイ。
出たな。
お洋服が乱れておりますが、その男に何かされたので。
いや、別に何も。
そうですか。ラウ様。
いた。
心配させないでください。
嘘。ガイの手震えてる。こんなに取り乱したガイは初めてだ。いつも冷静なガイが俺のために。ガイ、俺。
失礼いたしました。さあ、私を解雇してください。ご主人様に手を挙げるなど執事として失格です。
何言ってるんだ。悪いのは俺で。
いいえ、それに私はラウ様のお父様のお怒りに触れ、あの家に入ることすら許されぬ身です。本当にあなたの意志で戻るのなら、これ以上お止めすることはできません。
どうしてそんな簡単に帰れなんて言うんだ。お前の俺に対する気持ちはやはりそんなものだったのか。
やはり。もしやラウ様、私の気持ちを疑っておいでですか？何の力もない一介の執事が資産家の長男であるあなたを奪おうなどと、虫が良すぎました。
何を。
勘違いしないでください。あなたを返すと言っても一瞬の間だけです。あなたのご家族には心痛みますが、今度こそどんな手段を使ってでも手を出せないような方法であなたを奪い返しましょう。 誰を選ぼうと逃がしませんよ、私のご主人様。
ガイ。
失望しましたか。私はあなたさえ手に入れば他のものなどどうでもよいのです。あなたに嫌われたくないのでできれば知られたくありませんでしたが、誤解されるよりはマシでしょう。
ガイ。
本当の私はあなたを求めすぎるあまり、きっとあなたを傷つけてしまう。それが何より怖いのです。
それじゃあずっと自分を抑えて冷静を装ってた。不安を抱いていたのはガイも同じだったんだ。ガイ。やっと本当のガイに会えた。
ラウ様、なんという無茶を。
何をしている。屋敷に帰るぞガイ。お前の入れた紅茶しか俺の口には合わないんだ。
兄さん。
そういうわけだシオン。俺は家を捨ててでもたった一人の執事を選ぶからな。
いいのですか、ご家族を捨てることになっても。
お前こそいいのか。これで俺は完全無一文だぞ。
では生涯あなたは私を手放すことができませんね。
まったく、ただより怖いものはないんだよ兄さん。
無償の愛なのでは。
そんなわけがあるか。
待ってくれガイ。
どうかしましたか。
お前も脱げ。なんでいつも俺ばっかり。
わかりました。あとはラウ様が脱がしてくださいますか。
ああ。うわ、ダメだ。緊張で手が震えて。
ラウ様、ありがとうございます。
ガイ、今日は俺と一緒に。
お望みのままに。
触れ合う肌から熱が高まって理性が効かなくなる。ガイ。
ダメですよ、まだ。
何。
まだ足りません。もう少し我慢してください。
もうガイ。
ラウ、いいですよ。では一緒に。
書き置き。
ええ。
家に帰ることにした。ラウ。なんだこれは。
ラウ様の筆跡ではないものの真意を測りかねたので。
違う。そんなこと俺がするわけないだろ。ガイに嫌われたかと思いはしたけど。俺だって不安なんだ。情けない主人で失望したか。
いいえ、ラウ様。たとえ本気で家族を選んだとしても、しかるべき手を回した後は連れ戻す覚悟でしたから。それはもちろんこれからもです。 ですからラウ様だけは私を裏切らないでくださいね。
ガイ。
何をしてしまうかわかりませんから。
第3話。
どんなに努力しても叶わないものがある。
シオン、一緒に乗らないか？風が気持ちいいな。
そうだね。後継者というだけで全てを持っている兄。そんな兄が私は羨ましくも大好きだった。けれど
兄さん、
大丈夫か兄さん。
お前こそ。俺はお前がとっさにかばってくれたから。
ラウ様、大丈夫か？怪我は？血が出ているではないですか。見せてください。
大げさだな。少しすりむいただけで。
いいえ、早く傷口を洗わなければ。腕は動くか？足は？頭を打ってはいませんか？
兄が大事な後継者だということはわかる。けれど父はあからさまに兄ばかりを気遣う。ガイに至ってはこの家の執事であることすら忘れて兄にかかりきり。私にはたった一人も私のことを一番に思ってくれる人間はいないことを寂しく思った。いって
シオン様、お怪我は？
誰だ？こんなに息を切らしてまで私のもとへ。
これでお拭きください。
ああ、ありがとう。振り払われた。
失礼しました。
おい、お前一体。一度ならず二度までも。私はこの初対面の男に何か恨みを買うような真似をしたのだろうか。
シオン。
はい。
ラウに何かあったらどうするつもりだ？無茶させるんじゃない！
父さん違う。俺が。
すみません父さん。
シオン様はお兄様をかばって落馬されましたので、お部屋で手当てさせていただきます。参りましょう、シオン様。
おい待てよ、どこへ行く？
シオン様のお部屋です。
では逆方向だ。
話してください。
いや、お前が掴んだんじゃないか。屋敷に詳しくないようだが、一体お前は誰だ？
私は本日付でシオン様の専属になりました執事の楓です。
なるほど、それでか。残念だったな。
え？
不満なんだろう？私の執事になったのが。露骨に不機嫌な顔をして、将来有望な兄ではなく弟の私に仕えたことが。それでも父の誤解を解いてくれたのは嬉しかったが。
シオン様、紅茶とマフィンをお持ちしました。いかがですか？
ああ、眠気覚ましにもらおうか。
はい。
そのティーセット、ドルトンか？
はい。
よく行く店だが、この青は初めて見た。いい色だ。
すごい本ですね。こんなにたくさん読まれているなんて。シオン様は努力家なのですね。
何言って。
危ない。すみません。マフィン。
いつまで私の上に乗っている気だ？
すみません。
いいから早く私の着替えを持ってきてくれ。
マフィンは召し上がりませんか？
床に落としたものを主人に食べさせる気か？
申し訳ございません。
おい、この懐中時計はお前のものか？
返してください。すぐに着替えをお持ちします。
何なんだ？
すごい本ですね。シオン様は努力家なのですね。
父もガイもそんなこと一度も言わなかった。私に関心がなかったからだ。なのになんであいつはいつも一番欲しい言葉をくれるのか。いつも不機嫌そうで私が触れることすら拒むくせに。どんな言葉をくれても気持ちがなければ意味がない。遅い。楓はどこまで着替えを取りに行ってるんだ。まさかまた迷ってるんじゃないだろうな。風呂にでも入らないと風邪をひいてしまう。まったくあんなに使えない羊は見たことがない。
すみません、ラウ様。
いや、俺に謝らなくていい。
兄さんと楓？
ラウ様に教えていただいて作ったマフィンを台無しにしてしまって。
残念だったな。シオンの好みの味になるまで何度も焼いてたのに。
いえ、私はシオン様専属の執事ですから。シオン様の味覚や思考、身につけるもの全てに至るまで把握し提供するのが当たり前です。少しでもシオン様のお役に立てるのなら努力は惜しみません。
だから落としたマフィンでも私に食べて欲しかったと。それなのに私は。そういえば初めて会った時に差し出してくれたハンカチも紅茶も食器も全て私の好みに沿うよう用意してくれていたのか。
その懐中時計よかった。プレゼント気に入ってくれたみたいで。
はい、ありがとうございます。大事にします。
笑ってる。そうか、楓は兄さんのことを。私に触れさせなかったのは兄さんからの大事なプレゼントだったからか。参ったな。こんな気持ち初めてだ。たとえ兄さんのことが好きで私を拒んでいるのだとしても兄さんには渡したくない。楓、何をしている？お前は私の執事だぞ。
シオン様。
シオン、
来い。
シオン様。
だって兄さんは他のものは全て持っているのだから。私にだって一つくらい譲れないものがあってもいいでしょう。初めてそばにいてほしいと望んだ私の執事なのだから。
お湯加減は？
ああ、いいよ。お前も一緒に入るか？
私は。
冗談だ。石鹸を取ってくれ。
はい。すみません。
お前って本当ダメ執事。今何時だ？どうした？懐中時計を持っていただろう。見せてくれ。
ダメです。いくらシオン様でもこれは見せられません。
何をやっているんだ私は。本格的に嫌われたいのか。兄さんの前では柔らかい表情を見せた楓が私の前では固く無表情になるのを見ると悔しくて困らせたくなる。自分が惨めになることくらい分かっているのに。紅茶ってこんな色だったろうか。
シオン様、紅茶くらい言ってくだされば私が。
いい、自分でやるからお前は下がっていろ。バカだ私は。 顔を合わせると醜い嫉妬でまたひどいことを言ってしまいそうだ。今はそばにいない方がいい。
シオン様、お出かけになるのでしたらなぜ私に一声。
必要ない。しばらく一人にしてくれ。これ以上そばにいられたら何をしてしまうか。
わかりました。今日限りでシオン様の執事をやめさせていただきます。
楓、ダメだ。何を言っている。
私の気持ちを知ったからシオン様は私を避けているのでしょ
お前の気持ちがどうだろうとお前を兄さんに渡すつもりはない。
う。どうしてそこでラウ様が出てくるのですか。あなたを好きな私の態度が気持ち悪くて嫌になったのでしょう。
楓、
話してください。
待ってくれ。今なんて。
話して。時計。ダメです。見ないでください。
これは私の写真。
申し訳ありません。
どうして。
私はあなたにお仕えすると聞いてラウ様にあなたのお写真をいただいた時からずっと執事にあるまじき思いを抱いていました。知られてはならないと感情を押し殺して完璧な執事を演じようとしたのに、緊張で顔はこわばるし、あなたに触れられるだけで過剰に反応してしまう始末。これでは嫌われても仕方がありません。私には執事としてあなたのそばに仕える資格は。
楓、
シオン様。
執事の資格がないというのなら恋人でも何でもいい。私のそばにいて好きだと言ってくれればそれでいい。
シオン様。
お前がぎこちないのは緊張のせいだったんだな。てっきり兄さんを好きなのだと。
そんなことあるわけありません。私がずっとお慕いしていたのはシオン様だけなのですから。
もっと言って楓。
私が好きなのはシオン様だけです。
もっと
好きです、シオン様。シオン様、私も今度こそちゃんとご奉仕させてください。
無理をするな。別にそんなことを望んでいるわけではない。
ですが私を執事としておそばに置いていただく以上きちんと。
それなら今すぐ楓自身が来て。
はい。
楓。
はい。シオン様。
楓。
シオン様。
好きだ楓。
私も好きです。
ようやく手に入れた私だけの執事。
シオン様。
自分だけを思って名前を呼んでくれる。たったそれだけが欲しくて、長い時間見つからなくてずっと絶望していた。
シオン様、何もこんな朝からお勉強なさらずとも、しかもベッドの上で。
そうもいかない。まずお前をちゃんと父さんから買い取って、将来二人で暮らすとなると金は必須だ。
私のため？
私は兄と違って地位も名誉もまだないが、私を選んだこと後悔はさせないから。期待していて、楓。
はい、ご主人様。
さあ、収録お疲れ様でした。ここからはキャストトークのお時間です。
はい。
今回のキャストトークはラウ役の柿原哲也と、
はい。ガイ役の森川俊之がお送りします。
はい、たった今しがた収録が終了いたしましたけれども
言えてませんよ。
今しがた、
はい、
収録が終了しました。
はい。
というわけで簡単に
大丈夫ですか、柿原さん。
大丈夫です。本当力を注ぎ込んだので、今ちょっと体力が残っていないんですけども、
残ってません。
ちょっとした感想などをちょっと、どうでしたか、収録終わって率直なご意見としては。
いや、
はい、
まあ執事ですから、僕の役はですね。
なるほど。
ちょっとこう言葉がね、
はい、
語尾がこうなかなかこう硬いっていう硬めのこの難しい言い回しとかがあってですね、結構大変だったかなとかと思うんですけども。
いやー、でも森川さんはね、
全くよどみなくね、
そう
全く間違えることもなくね。もうノー NG でしたね、今回ね。
僕がちょっと NG をね、
すごかったね。もう1行ずつ進んでた。
そんなに俺たち結構あっという間の収録でしたけれども、
普通にね、普通な感じで
もうそうですね。それは一人に順調な素敵な台本だったからこそ順調に進んだということでございますけれども、さてここでですね、テーマトークがあるので、それにちょっと答えていこうかなと思っている。じゃあですね、テーマ、
はい、何ですかテーマ？
どれからいこうかな。じゃあね、これ僕普通に聞きたいっす。森川さんは執事といえば、まあご主人様にねこう尽くすものというイメージがありますけれども、森川さんご自身は尽くすタイプ、尽くされたいタイプ、どっちですか？その理由なんかもちょっと。
尽くすタイプか尽くされたいタイプか、
そういうことですね。まあ M か S かみたいな感じですけれど。
それ違うでしょ。それは
違うんですか？
それは違うよ。
あれ？なんか
だからなんかこう、面倒見てあげたい。
たいか、はい。
それも苦じゃなくてね、もう率先して自らなんかこう面倒を見るっていうタイプなのか、それともなんかこうね、面倒見てよみたいな、
もうなんで今すごいすっぱだかでボーンってこう立ってるような感じですけど、ちょっとリビングで
そうちょっと
あとも全部なんか
任せるよみたいなタイプかどっちかってことでしょ。
そうですね。
だから S と M とかそういうわけじゃないと思いますよ。だから僕的にはですね、やっぱ尽くされたいね。尽くされたいですよ。
やはり尽くされたいんですか？
でも尽くされたいけれども結局尽くしちゃうじゃない。
好きな人に対してはってことですか？
好きな人に対してじゃなくても、こういう役者っていう仕事をしてるとですね、どっちかというと要はサービス業じゃないですか。でね、どんどんサービスしちゃう、そういうサービス精神とかってない？
めちゃくちゃあります。
なんかこうさ、余計にやっちゃったりとかするでしょ。
そうやらなくてよかったのにっていうものをやっちゃいますね。
そうだよね。だから要は尽くすタイプなんだよね。
結局それは職業病なのか何なのかわからないけれども、結局のところ尽くしてしまって、
でどっぷり疲れて家帰ってもうバタンキューみたいな。
反省はするんですか？
ちょっとなんかこう
またほら
頑張りすぎた。
装備を外した勇者みたいになってますけれども、
いやなんか今日はやりすぎたなみたいなね。ちょっと喉痛いなみたいな、明日もあんのにみたいな、そういうのがあるんで、尽くされたいです。
なるほど。
影原どうなの？
僕ですか？僕はそんなね、僕はどうしても尽くすタイプになりますね。
尽くす。
僕はやっぱこう、
柿原とはまたね付き合いもずいぶん長くなってきたから、
本当にお世話になっております。
全くでもなんかね尽くされてないんですが、
もう本当に
何を尽くしてくれるの？
尽くすっていうものは、目に見えるところで尽くすっていうのはあんま好きじゃないです。目に見えないところで 尽くすっていう。
例えば俺に対して何を尽くしてくれた？
そうですね、やっぱこう森川さんのいないところで僕がもうやっぱ森川さんの素敵な武勇伝というものをですね
バカだね。
AT1 の後輩たちにですねこう広めていったりとか、
先輩は肉を生で食うんだよとか、わかんないこと言ってるでしょ。
俺の皿になんかどんどん何百グラムっていう肉が増えていくんだぜ、一緒にご飯食べに行くとみたいな。
ローストビーフ食べましたね。
気づけば
500グラムぐらい食ってたよねお前ね。
みんなが残したものをですね、どんどんこう
若い人がどんどん食べなさいっていうね、
そんな優しい先輩なんだよみたいなこととかをですね、いろいろお話しさせていただいて、
尽くしてくれてるんだ。
僕はもう本当にもう絶対一生尽くすタイプですね。はい
で尽くすんだ。
僕は尽くします。
尽くされたくはないのね。
やっぱできればもちろん尽くされたいんですけど、例えば愛されるより愛したい、そういう気持ちがめちゃくちゃ強いですよ。
どっかの歌手みたいな。
いやもうなかなかちょっと拾いづらいところ。愛されるよりか愛したい。やっぱ尽くされすぎると引いちゃいません？ちなみに森川さんどうですか？
俺いやね、愛されるよりも愛したいっていうよりも逆に愛いたくないか？
いやだからでもどうしても
愛したいってただのストーカーになってるよそりゃ。
そうなんですか？
逆に
でもだって両方とも同じねレベルで愛し合えればそれはもう本当にね世の中こう浮気とかね、もうそういったその気持ちが冷めるとかってないでしょうけれども、絶対にこう気持ちのバランスっていうものがあるわけじゃないですか。どっちの方がやっぱり愛してる量が重いから、なんで私のことを愛してくれないのよって喧嘩が必ず恋人同士あるっていうのはこれはもう愛のバランスのせいだと思うんですけれども、
もういいですかその話。
はい大丈夫ですちなみに、そんな森川さんは自慢できる得意な家事なんかはあったりありますか？
得意な家事。
もし森川さんを執事として雇ったら、これはもう俺これだけは絶対に負けないよ誰にもみたいな。
俺ね、なんでしたっけ劇なんとかくんっていうですね、スポンジで、台所のシンクとかですね、
ドイツ生まれのあれですね、
台所のシンクとかですね、洗面所とかのそういうキラキラしてるステンレス部分をですね、磨くのが好きです。
マジですか？
俺嫌なんだよね。こう水が飛んでこう
水垢になってるやつ。
そうあれが嫌いなの。お風呂場もガラスっていうか鏡とか、それとかお湯出るところとかもどんどんさほら汚くなる。白くなっちゃう。あれが嫌なのよ。
わかります。すごいわかります。
だから風呂俺入りながらそれ磨いてるからねこうやって。劇なんとかくんで。あえて言いませんけどね商品名。
そうですね。人によってはその劇なんとかくんで爪の中洗ってる人もいますよ。
爪の中を洗ってる？
爪のそのなんつうんですか。
爪を洗ってるの？
爪を洗ってる。
表面
とかそうすごい落ちるらしいんで。
あそうなんだ。
だけど僕はちょっと
今までやったことないの。
ナイス。結構役者さんの中でもいるっていう人がいました。
俺ね風呂入りながら掃除してんだよね。風呂の掃除。
体を洗いながら壁も洗ってるみたいな。同じなんかスポンジとかじゃないですよね。
たまにねこうやって逆だみたいなね。
でもそれはなんかそのカビ取りパーとかそういう
それはねダメ。それはね大変なことになっちゃう。なりっちゃうから
ですよね。ふわーってなっちゃう
からクラクラしちゃうし頭痛になっちゃうから、それはちゃんと換気しながらそれダメだからね。混ぜるな危険とか。
ちなみにあれですかボディーソープとかで壁とか洗ったりしません？
いろいろね試すね。
やっぱり
歯ブラシとかね
いろいろやりました。
俺今ね風呂場を洗ってるのが普通のボディブラシで洗ってる。これ意外にね綺麗に落ちるんです。
それお風呂のお湯ためる
浴槽とかですね、床とかお風呂場のね。
浴槽は分かるんですけど、風呂場の
床とかですね。床もちょっとこうザラザラしてる、滑らないようになってるから、ああいうところとかもずっとほったらかしにしてるとカビが生えちゃったりとか、そうでしょ。ああいうところってね細かくねこう隙間にね入っちゃうんだよね。だからボディブラシでさーっとこうねゴシゴシすると取れるのよ意外に綺麗に。
いや結構几帳面ですね森川さんね。
いや俺でもそこだけなんだよね。
あとはもうそんなにこう気にはならない、
あとはもう脱ぎっ ぱなしだしね。
埃とかはそんなに気にならなかったりとか。
あんまり気にならなかったりとかするんだけど、なんかこう、
はい、
キラキラ光る、反射してキラキラ光るものは光らせとこうみたいな。例えばこういうマイクスタンドとかも、はい、ちょっとこれ気になるんだよね、こういうのね。
ちょっとわかります。ちょっと、ね、
これもう時間があると俺もう絶対これティッシュとかで拭いてるもんね。
ちょっと森川さんと一緒に住むと常にここ磨いてるわけでしょ。そう、マイクにノイズるんでしょ。そうゴシゴシゴシゴシ
ザラザラザラザラ落とす。何の話してたんだっけ？
そう、得意な
家事ね。
家事の話でしたね、そんなね。
柿原は？
いや、僕が家事をするとしたら、漏れなく僕は常にコロコロを持ち歩いて。
コロコロね。
あれをね、常にこう、ソファーとか床とかコロコロしてるの大好きっすね。
コロコロってね、俺、あれ、もうちょっと改良した方がいいと思うんだよね。
どういうことですか？
コロコロってさ、一回コロコロしてたらさ、ね、絶対ね、吸着力がなくなるわけですよ。なくなります、
もちろんです。
で、あれを取るのがめんどくさくないか。
あれは大変めんどくさいです。
でしょ？
はい。
あれをね、本当にこう、ワンタッチでパッてね、切り替わって、新しく一回りね、綺麗な粘着テープにするようなコロコロができたら、これはね、
いや、俺そっち買いますもんだって。
蔵が立ちますよ。絶対特許取って。
そうですよね。
だってもうコロコロみんな必要だも
ん。やっぱ使います？
使う。
もう、あれもう結構神業になってきましたよ、俺。一回で、目安でピッとここだってその切れ目のところ
分かんなくなるんだよね。
そうなんですよ。
でなんか二回りも一気にさ、なんか
やっちゃったりとかね、
さ、綺麗にねこういかなかったりとかするんで、
そういうミスがなくなるともうプロです。もう神業です。
そういう面倒くさいことがならないようにもワンタッチでやれるようになればね。
欲しいですね。
もう出てるかもしれません。
出てんの？
出てたらすごいですね。出てたらもう教えてください。
もう出る前に僕たちでちょっと提案して、
でもさ、出てたら俺結構ね買いだめしてるからもったいないな。それ使い切らない
使い切ってください。
そっち行かないから
ね。やはりね、コロコロ偉大です。偉大ですから、もうちょっと改良していただいて、そろそろお時間ですよ。ここまでのお相手はラウ役の柿原哲也と
外役の森川俊之でした。
But it's good enough, I think, that you can definitely get value from it in the late game in the exact right situation. The more I talk about it, though, the more I actually think that this is more of a C tier unit when I really think about it. I think that Siren is probably going into C tier as well. I think that the units that are weak against the anti-caster stuff are, and they can't make up for it by being overwhelmingly OP against non-caster posers, makes them have a hard spot to be in. Assassin. I think that it's like so freaking annoying. I mean, it's part of the reason why you push things like Drake into A tier. Honestly, I honestly think that Shade might honestly be A tier also. Like, I'm building Shade nearly every game that I have it, because somebody will be playing Sorks, and if they're not, very likely somebody will be playing an Assassin, and like ending up like scanning and trying to. These guys are just so annoying, because it's a really good way that if you feel like you don't have a good tier 1 and you want to drag the game into tier 2 for your opponent, it's so good to do it. It's so annoying to do the scan. I mean, if you're looking for the most annoying unit in the game, it's by far Assassin. And at least when you know that somebody has gone Sorks, they've had to invest 100 gold of non-refundable money in order to get Invis. Whereas Assassin, it's like you're just gonna buy a gem against it, and then they're just gonna like sell the Assassin or whatever. Oh man, there's a lot you can do with them. There's a lot of cheeses. It's great as a value unit. It's great to force people onto tier 2. Shade best value if they go for Invis. I'm not sure about that. I think Sea Drake is really close. Sea Drake gives you a. Would you pay 100 gold? Or, sorry, like 80 gold for a flying unit that silences? Never, like if you discount the invis detection properly, right? Like you definitely would, right? So if you can get so the body of Sea Drake plus the silence is definitely worth more than 80 gold. And that makes me feel like it's a better value than Shade for Invis. Now, Shade can give detection to the next lane sometimes. There are some other differences, but still I think that Sea Drake is a little bit better. Siren. Really tough to find the exact right spot to build these. Like, the thing is, again, it's not really that it's a terrible unit. You can make it, and I've definitely seen some people stack in the early game and stuff with it. But the problem is that shaman are so good that you're competing with something that is very hard to beat. Just like priest, using Aqua Shield is really awkward because of the threat of destroyers or breakers. Chims, let's do Coatl. Coatl feel like just so mediocre in a lot of spots and really good in just a couple. So if your opponent is just trying to tank all of your air with a melee unit, melee hero, Coatl will blow that melee hero up. They're so good when ahead, and that's the thing that your opponent is counting on. However, Coatl really rely on attack speed buffs, and once you get too many of them, and too many is not that many, it's like 5, they tend to all attack the same thing. Maybe it's because of their range, because they're farther away, they tend to have the closest, more of them tend to have the closest unit be the same unit. So they tend to overkill a lot. They do no splash damage, unlike the other heavy air units, which is their design, but it definitely caps out their potential a lot. I think that building like a lot of these is kind of a trap, but it can also pay off too because they can split opponents' armies and stuff like that. The way they hang back behind armies can be really deadly. Chims. Another unit that you just want attack speed buffs with, or they just feel like they do nothing. They're so bad into just attacking like a random melee hero until you have like 10 of them, and that's so much investment. Um, they're not bad for, I mean, obviously sieging the base. If you're winning, then these it can be quite good. And even if you're losing, like if your opponent doesn't have a good way to attack these in priority, you can use these to like snipe back lines and stuff like that and deal a lot of damage into the next lane when you're losing. But overall, the impact just isn't there. And you're giving up like a hybrid anti-air slot in order to have something that's kind of like not even like the third or fourth best air attacking, like air to ground damage dealer. So I think that very often you would rather have any other sea or Hippo Rider than these. That isn't this. There are still good spots for them though. Let's see. I know I'm skipping around a little bit here, but honestly, I'm gonna throw ghouls into bottom of B tier. They are heavily countered very often by shaman now. But same thing as and also Murgle Reaver are so much better than them that it feels bad. But as people have drifted more towards playing things like summoning heroes, they are decent against that. And I think that they are probably the highest Q unit other than Murgle Reaver. I'll say, oh god, I hate footmen right now, but maybe footmen are also a C tier. Sea giant. How are Chims C tier? Yeah, I mean that's what it is. What it is, right? The Chims were better, they'd be higher tier. In if you're winning your lane, and you have attack speed buffs, I mean the Chims don't feel bad, and you have an X that's like decent anti-air. It's just a lot of factors that are needed for Chims to feel good. They definitely can be. It's just like the payoff is not equal to the risk. Yeah, just be winning. Just have TC and DK. Just be pushing down their fort, and all of a sudden, Chims are. I will say, the breath is crazy good again at like actually closing out games. It's like one of the few things that will actually end a game like very quickly on the unit side of things. It's like as dangerous as like Shaman Earthquake or something like that. It's not to be ignored. And like giving people a ton of time is dangerous. People can get their Shadow Hunters online, their Torn Chieftains online on defense and turn the game on you. But if you can like force them into a defensive position where they have to hit their power curve peak too early, like what you can do with Chim by like pushing down their base, it can be very valuable. When more is not necessarily bad. When now can be very valuable. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Griffins are by far better than Chims right now. An entire tier easily. I think the Griffins are quite nice right now. I do not cringe anymore when I get Griffins. I could even see Griffins going into A tier, to be honest. Uh, Sea Giant. My impressions of Sea Giant are kind of mixed. I think that he might be a little understated, but he is magic immune, and fairly often your opponent can have sorry, not magic immune, but possession immune. And they're decent against tanks, and sometimes you can get decent value from the anchor smash. I do think that they cannot match up to the value that an MG can by not having taunt and not having hardened skin. But I think that a lot of the games where I have Sea Giant, I'm not super unhappy with the value that I get out of them. I mean, let's be real, it's a Z unit. These are not going to be your highest tier units in the game generally. I am surprised. Sorry, I don't know how. One second. I don't know if there's a way to. How do I? I'm sorry, Black Dawn. I have to time you out for that. Please don't use that word. I don't know why that my auto mod did not let that word through. Normally, I would expect my auto mod to do that. It might be because my page closed. I know that this is just a few minutes timeout, and honestly, I would do it for less if I could, but I can't figure out the button to do it. But yeah, please don't use that word. Thanks. This is a stream where gamer words are generally not allowed. Okay, back to this. Rifles. There are a lot of units. I'm going to kind of rapid fire a few here. I mean, there's not a lot to say about rifles. I do think that they're actually like very playable in a lot of situations. I think I could easily put them in B tier, honestly. I find myself building them quite a bit, especially with Murgle Reavers being as popular as they are. And also against like Shaman. Like sometimes you have to build something else on tier 1 and you're just like, fuck, what do I build? Like I can't build anything else. So you end up building rifles and they're not bad. Rifles B tier. I'm pretty happy with that. Mortar teams. I feel like this could easily be a B tier unit. You get, I mean, you're playing them against the Invis units often enough that you're kind of happy with it. It's not flawless. It's pretty expensive, let's be real. But I have used them a decent amount against people like, I don't know, spamming Makura, playing a lot of tanks, playing a lot of MGs, playing a lot of breakers. It happens. And mortars, at least you can scale them with your buffs. So I've found a decent number of spots where I wasn't like terribly unhappy with mortars. All in all, are they the best siege unit? Probably, but maybe that still ends you up in the top of C tier. Gear under chat box, show mod icons, trash can next to message. Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't figure that out on the at the exact right moment. All right, Footman. You know, classically like a solid Q unit and has fallen off a lot. They don't like, I feel like they don't win like any of your early game lanes that well. Like your early game fights, like all it's just like how the money works out, like more than anything, like the number of footmen that you can get versus the number of whatever your opponent can buy actually means that they don't fight well into anything. So you're very likely to lose your early game. Then they're super weak to most of the other. You know what? The more I talk about it, I'm talking myself into D tier for these. I think I would rather play grunts right now. Honestly, I would rather play grunts most games because at least there's a couple spots where you win. You can play these middle and actually win your wave. You're much less vulnerable to lightning shield. You are more vulnerable to things like sorceresses, but I mean, it's not like footmen are great into sorceresses or anything. Maybe I don't know. But I would honestly rather play them a lot. They're significantly better into AoE, all of your blood mage, your lich. We're gonna need more tiers. Maybe it is still in D tier because I think that huntresses are bad right now. It's weird because you can end up in situations in games where huntresses seem like they're pretty good if you end up with the exact right situation. And so it might be confusing that it's like, how could huntress be bad if F never play? We'll see. We still have a lot of units here. How could huntresses be D tier if like I just saw them like own in this one specific game? And it's like, the problem is that every game that they own, they have one where they absolutely get dumpstered by like Murgle Reavers or Dryads. It's so bad. And actually Snapdragons being really good is really bad for them too. Makura has not bought huntresses the comp that we thought it might, frankly. Like going Huntress Makura is not a real comp, and you'll never clear anything. It's too expensive, takes too long to come online. Other people are going to be like tier 3 with their bear army or whatever, and you're going to be sitting here with Huntress Makura losing every fight. I could still see Huntress being C tier unit because I think you're right. I think that there are enough situations where they can feel okay. It's just that like I still would prefer grunts and footmen over huntresses most games by a fair margin. So it does feel a little weird to build like the first few units that you build every game as like pretty low tier units, frankly. But that's where I see it, especially with like the caster dominance that's happening, and how owned you get when people have Murgle Reavers. Copters. I think they're a solid D tier. Um, you have very little window to use copters these days. I mean, they're it's just it's the same thing as it's always been. You really just need one person to have bats or tanks, and your copters are nearly worthless. And they're only really good against the light air units anyway. The investment to get to copters is very high, very hard to actually get to them like in the right number and in a spot where your opponent is not just going to counter you. I don't think Dreadlord Swarm works against them actually, Grim Pommeler. I I thought it would too, and I think I had a game recently where I built Dreadlord into them, but that doesn't work. But Panda Fire, honestly, like Pit Lord is like the scariest thing, or even Potom Starfall. Starfall is like we'll just kill every single copter for free, which people pick Potom a lot second, so it is surprisingly relevant. Dragonhawks, solid D tier unit. You're going to build them very occasionally, and they're going to be not bad when you build them into the exact right spot. But it's only going to be like one in like 50 games that you're going to like actually want this unit. Still, I've seen some decent games out of Dragonhawks, and people have like, you're locking down like a few air units when you can have, your opponent has Frostworm or Coatl or whatever, and you can make a few more of these than they can make heavy air units. It can work. It's just very fragile and very temporary. You're never going to scale into the late game using these. You just missed a timeout. Black Dawn used the gamer word. That's it. And I would have just deleted the message if I had the ability to do that. But from I suck at being a mod, and so all I could do is click the timeout 10 minutes button. Let's not make a big deal about it. By the way, Trill, are you going to be streaming today? I plan to go offline in about half an hour, probably. Oh, anyway, like I said, let's drop it. I like I said, I would have literally just deleted the single one. Unlucky. I'm sorry, Trill. -1 viewer. It's fine. Knights. I think that the buff on Knights has actually really helped them. I think that they are significantly better now. Personally, I have not had a lot of games with them though, like where I've actually had a good chance to build them. But I do think that they could be very viable now. Headhunters, like the Garbaggio tier. Demolishers, I'm gonna say B tier. I think that I'm still building these moderately often. If you actually want to deal damage into tanks or Makura or whatever, they're pretty good. They get a lot of damage versus the base. I'm still building them a decent amount. It's definitely the siege unit that I most want most of the time, like in my drafts. Raiders. I think Raiders are a solid high C tier unit right now. The more I've thought, it was actually funny. It's honestly like Moonshiner who was saying that like I've been building these a lot and they've been actually pretty good. And the more I've played them, the more I've felt happy with them. You really don't need a lot of them to. First of all, they're not as badly statted as they used to be. They were buffed a few patches ago. And I think that hasn't fully been accounted for. Also, I think the medium armor really helps them in the current meta. Yeah, I wouldn't just build them with hunts or something, but and surprisingly, when you do build them, it's not like you're building them for the pillage value, but you do tend to get some pillage value eventually out of it. Um, Helps you a lot against the hippo pulls, stuff like that. I think that they're quite solid. Maybe bottom of C is fine. Kodo. It's really hard for me to evaluate this. I feel like by the time you're in the late game, this unit is. I can very rarely tell the difference that this unit is like helping that much. I think it's probably a C tier unit. This is like how much better than just buying the fucking aura is this? It's like a tiny bit better. Above Siren. I do buy it more than Siren. I probably buy it more than Priest. Probably buy it more than Mortar. It's not very good though. I mean, yeah, it's really hard for this unit to make a big difference in a game. Tauren, really bad unit right now. I mean, obviously if you have Tauren Walker, then I would say that Tauren could easily be like A tier or so. I don't even think it breaches into the S tier, even with Tauren Walker. But if you just have Tauren, yeah, it's like D tier, maybe lower, maybe F tier. It's real bad. You really don't want it. But I'm gonna put it in D tier for now. I mean, people can use their imagination that if they have Tauren Walker, they can move both of them into A tier and be happy with their A tier. Worse than Knights, definitely, in my opinion. And that was even before the Knight buff, but I mean, their Knights got buffed, and Tauren are just very costly, very even weaker to Banshees. They often are not going to get enough value out of their Pulverize to be worth it in the late game. I would definitely take Knights over Tauren right now. And I would take A-bombs over both of those. I would say A-bombs are like more top of the tier. You get the Disease Cloud. They have a better value in general. They are an undead unit, so they can't be Disease Cloud themselves. You can use your Death Coils on them. There's a lot of upsides, honestly. There's more, yeah, adventure. That's true too. And the fact that like Breaker is so good. I mean, and MG. Yeah, I mean, with these units being pretty popular, Knights. I mean, really, it's just about their value as a front line. I mean, their extra damage like is mediocre, to be honest. Like, it's okay, right? But your front line is going to get killed fast no matter what. Archer, yeah, F tier. Terrible unit. Glaive also like Glaive is such a narrow unit that it's just so hard to find like any spots where it's actually good. There's theoretical spots like Makura Huntress or something like that with a range hero that you might want to build this. And actually Dragon Turtle is nearly exactly the same. But I might even say that Dragon Turtle might be better than Glaive, just like slightly because you can buff it or whatever. But it's so rare that they're good at all. And then even if you build these, the problem is even if you're facing Makura Huntress right now, the game is going to shift. Your opponent will build a different front line, or you're going to face a different lane opponent when the tower goes down. And then all of a sudden, these are nearly worthless. Occasionally, you do need to build them into tanks or something as well, and you do need to make them. But you'll need to make archers and headhunters too. This is not the never play this tier. No unit falls into the never play this tier. But they're bad. They're bad. I'm going to have an empty never play this here. Okay. Just so people aren't confused. Hippos. I think that hippos have fallen off a lot. Again, I'm not counting the combo with archers or whatever. You can see what, hippo riders are top of A tier. Of course they're good. Hippo used to be like very powerful, and hippo pulls were a very in thing to do for a long time in order to retake the tower. I've seen them be significantly less successful and significantly more risky to do hippo pulls. The number of times where I've done a hippo pull and something has gone wrong with the hippo pull, either it was really hard to predict how forward the hippos should be, or I didn't predict that my opponent would just show up with an air unit and it doesn't work, or even if none of that is true, you're not strong enough to win the fight. I feel like hippos have fallen down quite a bit from their heydays of being like, this is a unit I really want. They are still a decent counter to Destro sometimes, but they're expensive. And yeah, there's a lot of times where you're going to run into stuff that is going to counter them. I might put them in C tier right now. That is, I feel like I used to put hippo in A actually, but I've just seen a real lack of hippo pulls working, and a lot of hippo pulls flubbing, and a lot of games where people build a lot of hippogriffs and they never accomplish the goal that you're really set out to be doing. Now, this isn't to say that they're bad, but I do think that they're a little bit more situational than they were before. Crypt Fiend, solid D tier, above Archer and Headhunter for sure. I build these a decent amount, especially if I have Necros. The web is very relevant sometimes. Definitely valuable enough. Anything that does extra damage into Murgle Raiders, that's something bonus. Where do I put Meat Wagon? There was a time when I was like overbuilding Meat Wagon. I think bottom of C is about right. You're really only building this for the disease cloud, but sometimes you have a lot of trouble like dealing damage into the next wave. And this can be a way to help your next wave occasionally, especially if people are playing like an army of breaker like or caster bullshit, and they have like a lot of chaff. It can help, but that's pretty narrow, right? I think I might say this is a top of D tier for me. It's actually kind of rare that it matters, and it's so bad. If you need siege damage for whatever reason, because your opponent is massing tanks or Makuras, this basically doesn't do that, right? It basically isn't a siege weapon. It's basically just a plague delivery weapon. Wow, Bishan thinks that Coatl is S tier. I mean, so I mean, we definitely you don't think that that Destro is S tier, Bishan? I'm glad we agree on Murgle. And my Hippo Rider is like top of A tier. I do think it's really good. But I am surprised that for you that Destro is not somewhere on there. Yeah, meta is mixing in some W units. Yeah, I honestly thought that I would put Destro as number one, like 1 week ago or something. I did feel like Destro was number one, but you're right. There's a lot of people mixing in, especially Snapdragons and rifles, and honestly, sometimes Crypt Fiends as well as like But I mean, poor Archer and Headhunter are really bad. The thing is that if you have Necro and Hippo Rider, I actually agree that they are probably that Hippo Rider definitely elevates into S tier if you have Necro. But I also feel like you have to account for the times when you don't have Necro. And in those situations, I feel like Hippo Rider can be really sad. And that's sort of why I've justified putting it in top of A tier instead. Anyway, thanks for giving your opinion, Bishan. I'd love to know what other changes you would make. Myrmidon. I'm gonna say Myrmidon bottom of D tier. Um, I have not seen it do all that much. I mean, I think that the places where it would be good in theory have not worked out for me, and I have not seen them work out for anybody else. That's not to say that you can never play it. If you're truly like countered on tier one, then building Myrmidon can be fine. I just haven't seen it even in the situations where it's like, okay, my opponent is like, I don't know, like Ghoul Breaker or something, like clearly Myrmidon should be good here. And then it's like kind of not. It's like not good. It's just because the stats aren't good enough. So you can find like good spots where Myrmidon seems like it should be good, but it's not. I think that it's kind of a trap right now. I would love to see some games where I'm proven wrong and Myrmidon is strong enough at what it's supposed to do to win those spots, but I don't see it being there right now. It still just feels like making a grunt. Enchantress. This is one of the units that I have the highest variance on in terms of like how good I think that it could be. There are situations where I feel like Enchantress feels really good. And I've definitely lost some games to it, especially where I was playing like Bear Coatl or something. But I have a really hard time actually ranking this A or B. I think it's definitely not A for me. For me it's between B and C. I mean when I have Enchantress, I'm probably only building it one in like 5 to 10 games when I actually have Enchantress. Like because you're kind of building it like in place a lot of the time of your S unit. And so you're really not going to make it often. Like you're really it is a good unit for stacking in certain situations, but it's not often. I think for me it's probably a mid high C tier unit. What do you think, Bishan? This is something that I'm one of the most uncertain about. Anyway, Enchantress is not good. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Garg. I have Garg at top of A. I think Garg is very, very good. Enchantress is like, yeah, kind of. I have C tier here, but I would totally be willing to believe that it's D tier or maybe bottom B in like very optimistically. I do feel like it's not all that explored, and there could be some cases where you can all in this and do really well. Hydra. I'm gonna say top of C for Hydra. I actually think that Hydra is not bad right now. It definitely has its spots where I have felt like it's honestly, you know what it really works well with is Necro. Like if you don't have Hippo Rider, you can play Necro Hydra and it actually feels pretty good into a lot of stuff. It like works for the same reason kind of Hippo Rider does. I do think that its stats are kind of underwhelming and its AI is wonky, but I've seen enough spots where Hydra has fulfilled its role. I would certainly almost always I mean, you look at the other X units and you have Destroyer, Tank, Bat, like all of these other ones are actually higher on my tier list, Hippo Rider. But I do think that Hydra is not in the garbage tier right now. I think that it's good enough that I would play it. I think, oh, you think A or B tier for Hydra? 28 minutes, Zeddy. You know it's 28 minutes. I know it's 28 minutes. All right. Ishan says B tier. I could see bottom of B tier, honestly, for Hydra. I feel like when I make it like, yeah, if you're making it into Hippo Rider, you're gonna be really sad. But it's other than that, I would say also into Coatl. By the way, I would definitely say the even if I move Coatl to top of C, Coatl is by far my biggest disagreement with Bishan's tier list. So I'm really curious to see where this winds up. I have not had good success with it, and I haven't seen other people have it, and I feel like it's you think the Hydra model needs to be smaller. Anyway, I stand by my guns. I don't think Coatl is particularly good, but maybe I could see some Bishan games and be convinced. All right, we're all on heroes now. Vagabonds. Mid C tier unit. I think that people were really worried that Vagabonds are just going to be like garbage now that AMS is nerfed. But I actually find myself making Vagabonds quite a bit. And it's just because people are like spamming Shaman and Sorceresses in the early game a lot. And Vagas are actually like a pretty good way to, if you have ghouls, like rather than making like 9 ghouls, you make like 6 ghouls and like 2 Vagabonds instead. And you feel so much safer against shit like Lightning Shield. So I don't think Vagabond is useless at all now. I think it has a more niche role. But I think that its stats are decent enough that it can do fine into that. Plus, some people still are playing Makura, and Vaga are excellent into that. Pilferer. Pilferer is a tricky one. I mean, I see some really good usage of Pilferer, but I still have a really hard time putting it like more than like bottom of B. I mean, there are cases like the hallmark cases against like bears or sorceresses or sometimes shamans. But the fact that like it doesn't do anything to Necros, for instance, is a pretty weak anti-caster unit. Plus, against Murgle Reaver, it doesn't do extra damage. Windrider can't be A tier. I think I feel like they are. I have put Windrider lower on some other tier lists for sure. But right now, I feel like a lot of people are playing Destro, and that gives Windrider an angle. If people were not playing Windrider, then Destro... Or sorry, if the people were not so heavily playing Destro, then Windrider would be worse for sure. But if you can say like, okay, they're not gonna have tanks and they're not gonna have bats because they're drafting for Destro, then Wind Rider have a much better angle. Skin Flare. Honestly, I put them right up with like probably bottom of like I don't know, top of C tier. I build these often when I have them. I'm not building a lot, but again, it's like a diversification. Like you're either building them with your Murgle Reavers so that you don't have all light armor, or you build them with your ghouls so that A, your ghouls do more damage, and B, you have some units that aren't quite as vulnerable to AoE. It's a little bit of a hedge. I don't think that they're excellent, even in those situations, but I think that they are good enough. I will say that like another thing that's helped Wind Rider is that tanks and bats have been um like Hydra is not nearly as good into Wind Rider as tanks and bats are. So you actually have some even in addition to people going heavily playing Destro, you actually have more people playing um not tanks. There's just more slots that don't counter you as hard. If before people were like very heavily like playing tanks, then there was a lot of games where it felt really pointless to play Wind Rider. But I don't feel like that now. Although I feel like it is drifting in that direction. I do feel like people are a little bit less on Destro and a little bit more on tank, but that's just my impression of my sample size. Branded Warrior, it's bad right now. It's always been kind of an iffy unit to play. You can find exactly the right spot for it sometimes, uh, and it can be good in those spots. But you're in a world in which people are like very heavily playing, like re-rolling like both the roles probably to try and get shaman or something. So it just does not feel good into that. It's always been mediocre. Like you'd always much rather have a hero or shamans deal with it, and I think that's especially true now. It really only works when you're ahead. It's so hard to use when you're behind to get the positioning just right. 1,000 ghouls, they're not even that. I mean, they're okay against Murgle Reavers too, but I think you would just they're expensive. First of all, they're expensive and unreliable in most situations. Stone throwers, and pretty bad unit. I mean, you can make it into as like the thing is they're just expensive. They're an expensive W unit. Like if you have the possibility to just play Snapdragons, 90% of the time it's better. Occasionally, yeah, your opponent has Makura or tanks, and if those ever become more popular, then I'm sure Stone Thrower could see a little bit more value. Maybe I could see them bottom of C tier. Shadow Priest. Quite bad now, actually, in my opinion. I mean, the thing is that you can play them into Necro, and they'll do okay for a little while. Honestly, they're very similar to Guardian. I mean, they overlap so much in their value, but because there's no more AMS to dispel, and that's not like a main thing that you would like draft around them for, they've definitely fallen off a lot. Still, I still build them more often than most other things here. I think that I think I like Guardians a little bit more. They're a little bit more tempo oriented, but just the need for like really good dispel has fallen off like massively. And the value that you get out of these is like much more situational, I feel like. You're much more better off playing a proactive thing that your opponent has to dispel rather than playing dispel with these units in particular. I would say that if you want to play counter to magic units, I don't know if Walker is up here, is this really true? I feel like Walker could go down and these could go up, but at least Walker has a, I don't know. Guardian is 2x better. Honestly, I know that Guardian is better, and that's why I put them in this order. I just don't know where I would put them. I mean, the thing is that like Guardian can actually deal with like dispel in the mid game in a way that Shadow Priest just can't. You'd see Guardian being a tier higher, but in the late game, if you're against 1,000 Necromancers, that's like a job only Shadow Priest can do, and Guardian will fall behind. Yeah, Bishan. I agree, and that's sometimes why like putting things in a tier list in the first place is a little bit of a not a real thing. Like there's no like every single unit is viable in exactly the right spot. No unit is so bad that you never ever play it. So it's just about like finding the right spot where each unit is actually valuable enough. And so the tier list really represents partially how often a unit is good and how often a unit is bad, because the unit takes up a spot in your draft. How easy is it to counter a unit? Like I could like spend like an hour like formalizing these tiers and like talking about like what in my opinion would like necessitate like an A tier ranking or something like that. And some of it has to do with risk and like if I make this unit and I put money into a unit, how likely is it that I get absolutely owned like afterwards? All right. A couple more units. I am very close to needing to leave for the day, so it's good that we're almost done. I feel like Talon just sucks. Talon has some very specific roles that it plays very well. Interrupting BBV, um, being like dedicated anti-air sometimes when you just don't have any other anti-air in your draft. It's quite good against, I don't know. It can at least trade somewhat evenly with a lot of the air units in the game, which is something you sometimes desperately need. Evoker. I'm going to say like top of D tier. I really don't like this unit, to be honest. I feel like the problem is that the amount of mana that you mana burn from your opponent, they could just make another unit of that type and they're going to come out ahead. Even if this somehow burned 100% of a Spirit Walker's mana so that it couldn't resurrect anymore, they could just make another one for 170 and you're still paying more than that for your Evoker. I think it's bad. I think that even like in the optimal case where you're trying to like you're against like bears or something, like is it even good then? It's really hard for this unit to be good and find the right spot for it. I mulligan this pretty aggressively. And stacking it's good. Yeah, true. But I mean, keep in mind you could stack a warlord and that's going to like kill your opponent's heroes. Like the comparison is massive. These things also run out of mana eventually, and they can't even mana burn anymore. Like maybe they need more mana at least, so like even in like really good cases, they can keep going. Ogre Magi. I've been a bit warmer on Ogre Magi. I've been playing it a little bit more, getting a little bit more value out of the Bloodlust. I don't think it's amazing, but I do like. I don't think it's as good as Warlord. but I do value it a decent amount right now. I'm definitely thinking about this in my drafts, that if I can't have Shaman or Necro, that I would really like to have. I would at least consider Ogre. I would still take Warlord over it nearly every time, even if I don't have any other attack speed buffs. But it is pretty good in my opinion. It's expensive. It is expensive, but and it is counterable. Maybe I'm talking myself into more of a like a high C tier. I mean, you can just see like how much better Shaman is than Ogre Magi, right? It's just like such a better unit. I can see bottom of B tier. Okay, all right. I think this is my tier list. I think, is that all of the units? I think so. Hot takes from anybody? Any last call requests for changes? Yeah, my biggest I Coatl is probably the unit that I'm the most uncertain about. I know I've rated it really low here. Maybe I say that it's bottom of B tier. I could see that. I Can you post the link to this list? I will once I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and I will have it linked in my channel. Yes. Gleaves. Yeah. Bad unit. Not very good unit. All right. Okay, I need to I'm going to be going to a family gathering this evening, so I need to leave like right now. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Good to see you, Bishan, commenting on the list. I mean, I'm doing this in a very small amount of time. I'm sure there's a lot of really good discussion to have about the tier list, but I mean, tier lists are always kind of more for fun and for content, for discussion than an exact list of every single thing. I don't know if you're still here, Black Dawn. I hope I hope you're still going to be a viewer of our stream. I don't want to put put anybody off based on one interaction. But I hope it's understandable why I needed to do that. And yeah, I hope hope the rest of you guys have a great day. We will see you guys all next time. I'm not positive what my streaming schedule will be. I have a handful of family events over the next few days, so it's very unlikely that I'll stream Sunday. I would say it's about 50-50 that I stream tomorrow. Definitely not streaming Tuesday. So I apologize if I am not able to stream any of these random days. All right. Let's find somebody to raid. Who we raiding today? Oh yeah, I need to turn off my thing. Okay. We actually had a really good climbing day today. We actually broke our thing when we got some good wins in today, which is good. Go find somebody. Any direct strike gamers going? My viewership for the tier list was a little bit lower than my average viewership, but only by a little bit. And now we have a tier list that we can refer to in the future. Where are we going? Carson, probably? Todd? Let's go to Todd. Bye! No, you don't like Todd, Vivi? Anyway, see you guys later.